Okay, well, welcome everyone.
Welcome.
Thanks for tuning in. Today's video is an overview of, basically it's almost our 3-year wedding anniversary. And we always like to do kind of like a looking back on the previous year, just how far we've come in our marriage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like making my marriage a big aspect of my blog, and I love including Grant, and I love that Grant likes to show up and engage with all of you in video.
Oh yeah.
Snaps for him. But we'll share links to like last year's anniversary talk and like wedding information below. So be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you can never miss an update from us.
That's right.
So for this one, I was like, what should we do to talk about our 3-year wedding anniversary? And I was like, oh, why don't we do like poll for questions on Instagram?
Yeah.
And we can ask like, what do you think has stayed the same? Or what do you think has changed? And not necessarily changed for the better or for the worse, but just changed.
Just change, yeah, because life changes.
It does.
Yeah.
So I guess you want to do like a little overview of year 3 before we dig into everything?
Yeah, so I would honestly say year 3 has definitely been, we've worked more in year 3 than we ever have. We've had less quality time kind of building and growing Power Fit. But we're finally at a spot where we've got everything, you know, built and even honestly, a strong foundation. But even through that, I think we've gotten so much closer in our marriage because we've spent. This is probably the most time we've ever spent together.
Even though it wasn't all quality time, it was a lot of like work
and we got to understand each other's personalities. Like when she'd go in freak out mode, or I'd go in freak out mode on a computer or something. So go the whole Macintosh debacle. we all remember that one.
Yeah. So not that every year's the best by any means, but I also think that life is what you view of it, your mindset,
Absolutely.
And all of that. So I would say all in all, the marriage I have with Grant is more than I could have ever dreamed of. I think that year 1 was the hardest, even though it was like the honeymoon phase. We'll kind of dig into that. Year 1 was exciting, but there was also like, you know, we were 29 and 32 when we got married. We were both very independent, financially independent, owned our own homes, owned our own businesses.
Very set in our ways.
Very. So putting those two things together into like moving in together, combining a household, and Grant's an only child, so for him to ever learn to share anything with anybody.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
So that's kind of an overview of year 3. So the first question is, how much growth or progress would you say y'all have had as a couple?
Oh, honestly, I think that our growth and progress is we've come so much further in year 3 than we ever have. We're so much closer. We understand so much more about each other. You know, we read the 5 Love Languages book, and I think that was a great understanding of how we both communicate. We read the Enneagram book, so that was a complete understanding of what her personality is and what her traits are. So whenever she's in distress, this is the direction she's naturally going to go, and vice versa with me too.
And also, I think not only about the other person, but I think that you learn a lot about yourself.
Absolutely.
With those kind of books.
Yeah, self-reflection is one of the, if you can seriously look in the mirror and honestly evaluate yourself, you will grow so much more as a person, as opposed to being like, I don't do that. Well, sometimes.
Or I don't need to improve.
Absolutely, yeah. Everybody needs to improve.
Yeah, marriage has definitely been the biggest self-reflection mirror I've ever been a part of.
Absolutely.
And it makes it really hard to like understand or learn or become aware of some of these things about yourself. Not that they're always so bad, but there's obviously either ways to improve or ways to, you know, work better together. And I just feel like if I was still single, I wouldn't have that. So it's as hard as it can be at times for Grant to hold me accountable, or basically be holding a big mirror to be like, hey, this is actually you, not me. Even though we've learned it's not you or me, we try to work together as a team and us.
Absolutely.
I think him holding the mirror is better than saying physically or verbally, this is you. It's kind of like me seeing it for myself.
Yeah, and mainly the dishes.
Yeah. But definitely, I think it makes us each better as people because of the self-reflection. And then the other thing is like, because I was always self-employed and never really had like business partners, or I don't know, I feel like I'm always a cheerer on or encourager. Like I push people to be their best. And so sometimes I didn't necessarily always have that relationship in my own life.
Right.
And now I definitely have that in Grant.
Oh, absolutely.
So he pushes me to be my best. He embraces me of like who I really am. I think you can tell that with my blog. He wouldn't do all this stuff if he didn't truly love me or support me being me. Do the go-to date nights still happen versus finding new ways to keep the romance alive?
Well, that goes back to kind of what we were talking about earlier. Last year, I think we only had 2 or 3 date nights all last year because honestly, we worked so much at night, every night till 9, 10, 11 o'clock every single night that, you know, our work nights became date nights, and we would actually have a ton of fun with it. We kind of turned nothing but work into date nights. So
or
that was,
even just going on bulldog walks and cooking and meal prepping.
Yeah.
We like viewed that quality time. We could make that a date night rather than the year before we tried to every year go on a physical date just ourselves.
Right.
And we want to get back to that this year. Last year, I feel like anytime that we had that, we were like hosting people or it was events for like other friends or family.
Yeah.
So we started to realize that the things we were going out and doing, we didn't always have that just ourselves.
There wasn't any quality alone time with us. So we turned...
That wasn't work.
Right. So that's when we turned bulldog walks, basically everything she just
Even
said.
just laundry days. Like we would turn that into...
Yeah.
Rather than a chore,
We
trying
would
to
just
like,
turn
be
it into
together.
fun, yeah.
Yeah.
And laugh and
we
just-
worked out together more, so
Yeah.
that would probably have sufficed. So we still got a lot of quality time, just not the
Yeah.
date night quality time.
We're
And we-
finally good in the gym. Like I actually enjoy going to the gym with her now, as opposed to the year before, which I absolutely despised it.
Yeah, he's getting a lot better. But I recognize that New Year's Eve this year. And so many people, like Grant and I like to host a lot between like the man cave and the house and football season. Like
Right.
we're real active in hosting our families and our friends. And so people always kind of like reach out to us about big events like New Year's Eve. And we just respectfully told everybody, like, you know what? We've realized that we haven't done anything, just us two.
That was our New Year's Eve was our second date night in the entire year.
Yeah, so we hosted Thanksgiving, we hosted Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day, everything. We always host everyone's birthdays, which we love doing, but we just kind of set it and said, hey, this is going to be time for just us. What boundary would you say you have crossed that you say you would never do? Like he pees while you shower.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that one.
I know it.
Okay, what is it?
So I would always tell Grant sometimes in the shower, I would be like,
Oh.
it smells like pee. And Grant would be like, yeah, I catch Bucky all the time peeing in the shower.
Yeah.
He's like, he's done it ever since my old house. And I'm like, weird, I have never seen him peeing in the shower. And so there was one day that so it was like our shower and like our toilet situation right here. And there's this little hallway. And like marriage, you just like see everything of
Yeah.
each other, okay? So I'm finishing up peeing, about to walk in the shower, and Grant doesn't realize I'm already coming in the shower.
Yep.
And I can tell it's not just water dripping off his, you know what? Like I can tell it's pee.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
I got caught peeing in the shower.
I stood there and I was like, that is so weird. I always catch Bucky peeing in the shower.
Really weird. I don't know what to tell you.
Have you tried to stop peeing in the shower?
I still
since
pee in the
then?
shower, but I mean, you know, it is what it is.
I will definitely say I've gotten more comfortable. I'll toot in front of Grant now.
Yeah, she farted yesterday.
To where, what was it like the whole first year we dated, you never could catch me,
Mm-hmm.
like pooping. And he was like, literally bound and determined to catch me coming out of the poop.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't think
I
you
thought
could.
it would just magically went away or something. I never once. I think we were completely into our second year of marriage before I ever caught her.
Yeah.
Dating, everything.
I was like, you're not going to catch me. I'm good at this. Future family plans.
Yeah, we'll probably end up trying for a family this year. I think that's probably the next on the agenda for us, and we're looking forward to it.
And we're about to break ground on the house.
Yep, I think probably in about 3 weeks we're gonna break ground on the house, so I'm pretty excited about that.
And we're trying to I can speak for, I know I set this for myself, but I hope it also applies to our marriage too, is that I'm trying to set more like boundaries, demand kind of more like authority in a good way, like meaning like just kind of going with the boundaries thing.
Yeah.
Boundaries and authority and like more balance this year.
Yeah.
So
we need a lot more balance. We worked way too much.
yeah, and that's not sustainable and we can burn out
it
going
was
like that.
literally, and I'm not exaggerating, 80 to 100 hours a week.
But it was worth it.
Completely worth it.
Yeah.
Just a lot of work.
Someone said I should wear my wedding dress to do this.
Well,
Maybe on year
had-
4.
Well, you had it preserved, so how
I
does that
did.
work?
I don't know.
We'll look
I don't
into
know.
that.
Okay, best ways to handle conflict for newlyweds.
Honestly, that was kind of one of our hardest struggles year one, is because, you know, in a new relationship, or especially, you know, everything's butterflies, rainbows, and unicorns until you get married, and then it's like, okay, this is real life, you know, like she would always go grab my deodorant or my toothpaste or stuff, and I'm like,
He's
no,
the
I'm
only
gonna share.
child who's never shared anything.
Yeah, but little things like that would turn into a fight sometimes. Honestly, just trying to see where the other person comes from. Whenever someone's upset, be like, why are you understanding, or why are you upset? I want to understand why you're upset, and then try to put yourself in that point of view. And if someone's hurting, I feel for your pain. I understand that you're upset. I'm sorry that you're upset. So even if, say, you did something wrong and you're upset, be like, I apologize. I'm sorry you're upset. Let me try to help and fix the problem. The worst thing you can do is dig your heels in and try to fight back.
And I would definitely
and
say
be defensive.
Both of us individually and together as a marriage have gotten so much better
Absolutely.
about apologizing and owning. Maybe it wasn't intentional, and we'll always say that, like, I didn't intend to hurt you, or I didn't intend for this to come off maliciously, but the other person's like, well, I took it that way, or I took offense to it, it hurt me. And so instead of standing prideful about it, you're just like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Right.
I would say the best way to handle conflict for me has been understanding a level of empathy, kind of like Grant was saying. I don't think I was very empathetic before marriage. I was just kind of like tough and strong and like my own mindset or view on things. But now, like for instance, Grant plays a lot of sports and a lot of hobbies, and he's gone a lot during the week compared to what I was used to.
Right.
Okay. And at first, I just kind of couldn't wrap my mind around it. Like, why is this such a thing for you? Why do you have to spend so much time doing that? And then once I understood, like, oh, Grant grew up an only child. He never had siblings to play with when he was growing up. And so him going and doing that, it's not so much about, I like that he was staying in physical shape doing it. But it
was never about playing the sport.
It was about the camaraderie and being part of a team.
Right.
And all of that. And so once I understood it, and he like kind of, became vulnerable, dropped his guard and his defenses down and told me how much it meant to him, then I feel like an asshole for being that way about it. So I think really just getting through to those walls and those defenses down, and just caring about that person and understanding it from their side and having empathy for them,
right,
then it helps you resolve conflict in a much more loving way. Change the freedom of farting. Has that changed?
Yeah, I let it loose or let it rip pretty regularly around her.
Yeah.
And she's probably in the last month or so she's starting to let it rip a little bit.
We were just lifting some weights on the ground in the man cave floor a couple hours before this. So we were doing some supersets of like bench press and like this chest press. And just in the middle of all of it, Grant lets out this huge fart. And I just stop and start dying laughing and look at him and just put sunset heart hands over his little face and told him how much I loved him.
That's right.
Okay, let's see. Date nights. This girl says they always seem to revolve around eating in her house. Do our date nights always revolve around eating?
For us, we like to do more physical journey activities. Go walk through the neighborhood. Just go to a movie night. Not ours. Bowling, stuff like that. We try to do most of our date nights based around an activity, not necessarily around food.
I guess if you counted bulldog walks, we had a lot of dates last year.
Well.
But if you call it by what technical people call it, going out to eat,
Right.
Okay, this is a good one. What have the weight changes been for me through our marriage? This person says I look amazing and strong.
Yeah, Randa, so I guess from when we first started dating to now, Randa's lost, 40 pounds, and then she's gained another 15 pounds. But of the 15 pounds she's gained has been solid muscle. Her body fat percentage has decreased. Her muscle percentages, she's gained muscle mass. So, I mean, honestly, you're in the best shape I can ever remember you being in.
So I would guess like my booty and my legs are a lot bigger than they've ever been.
Absolutely.
They went from like big with like no tone to like thin to like now good shape.
Right, absolutely.
So what's your favorite of all my body shapes you've had of me?
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Our time together and time apart, has that changed or stayed the same as a whole?
As a whole, we spend more time together.
Which I love. I'm a quality time person.
Yeah, and I'm more of a independent only child who needs to get away by myself. So it's, like I said, we worked so much last year. Like I only went hunting like maybe 5 or 6 times the entire season, which is, usually that's an easy week for me. And so, this year I'll try to get back in the stand more. But yeah.
And I have to learn to not take it personal that like sometimes Grant just needs alone time or like nothing box time or like just man cave without me or the bulldogs time.
Right.
And I have to know that it's nothing of a reflection that I've done wrong. It's just the way he was raised, an only child, and he processed things and dealt with things, in his own time by himself. And so, it's just something that I've learned to totally respect.
Yeah.
Do we have nicknames for each other, or have we ever?
Oh, I don't even know. I've lost count how many nicknames I've got for Randa.
Okay.
All right. So it started with Rhonda,
Okay.
which is her main one, I call her. Then it
My
went
real name is Randa.
Her name's Randa, so I call her Rhonda. Then it went to Rwanda. Then it went to Hunda. Then it went to Dahundis.
Rohunda.
Rohunda. What else?
I don't know.
There's a couple more. Yeah, got put on the spot, can't
Do
think.
I have any
That's
nicknames
five.
for you?
Grant.
But Grant doesn't
I don't
like
like
to,
nicknames.
Yeah,
so.
and Grant doesn't like honey, sugar, baby bear, all that.
I hate sugar plum. I hate that.
And so lately I've been calling him baby or babe.
I'm like, stop. I'm not a baby.
Oh, you have other nicknames for me, but they're not really appropriate. Remember,
Yeah.
every time I call, how you answer the phone.
Yeah.
If you're by yourself.
Yeah, well, we're done.
How has our faith changed over the 3 years?
I think we're probably stronger in faith now than we've ever been. I wasn't all that, strong in my faith when we were dating. And then we switched churches, which I think was best thing for me personally. We go to Declaration Church. It's really changed the way I look at religion and kind of really renewed my faith in God. And so I think we are significantly closer than we've ever been. And then one of our really good friends, Bree, we actually went up to Katie last weekend and went to her church. And it's just,
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying church now.
I wouldn't think that before us dating you would have traveled an hour and a half to go to a church
Would have
service.
never even considered it.
Yeah, but now I feel like you're so much more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You're so much more excited about it. And internally, we've always prayed together as a couple ever since we got engaged.
Yeah, we pray every night before we go
But
to sleep.
it's definitely gotten sweeter and more in unison, I guess you could say, over the time.
Absolutely.
But I would just say I've definitely seen a change in Grant's energy for church.
Mm-hmm.
How has our in-laws relationship? Has it changed or stayed the same?
Honestly, it's gotten better. I mean, I sound like a broken wheel here, or broken record, but, it's just, everything's really good. And what I love about our relationship with our in-laws is that we pick on her mom, bless her heart, so much. And she takes it in stride. She's awesome.
She's an easy person to pick on. She's an easy target, but it's always out of love.
It's always in love and good fun. We always kind of say, if we're not picking on you, we don't like you.
Yeah,
so.
and I feel like Grant's kind of been raised in certain situations where he had to be more formal, more
put together
than I necessarily had to.
Right.
And so I think it's really cool for Grant to be able to let loose around my family.
Yep.
And pick on them and have fun with them. And even he has brothers-in-law or brothers now.
Yep. Right.
That he never had. Now, I will say my in-laws relationship, it is different than what I ever expected. I guess you always think you're going to marry into a big family. And I married an only child.
into a teeny tiny family.
Yeah, to an only child. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way because Grant's parents adore him. They adore me. I think it took Grant's dad a little bit to understand me.
Yeah,
Grant's mom got me right away.
He doesn't truly still understand her.
I
but he
wear
loves her.
the holographic Elton John pants to Vegas.
Yeah.
And they loved it. Now, if I would wear that in College Station, Grant's mom would appreciate it. Grant's dad would be like, So, yeah, it's different than what I ever expected, but they're very loving and protective over Grant, but that comes with me too. So
Right,
I never
absolutely.
I feel like they embrace us as a couple rather than Grant and then I'm the addition.
Right.
I think both of our families really do that. My family views Grant as a son.
Yeah.
There's not that layer.
Absolutely.
Is the honeymoon phase a real thing?
Yeah, honestly, it really is. I mean, I would say the honeymoon phase for us lasted probably 2-3 months. And after that, it's okay, we're actually sharing a bathroom now. We're actually, when you just get to living with people, it's just completely different. She handles the way, her morning routine is very different than my morning routine. And you have to work around that. I used to like to get up because I get up earlier than she does. And I like to listen to the radio and, make a lot of racket and stuff like that. Well, I used to do that. Well, I don't anymore because that's going to wake her up, and I don't want to, so I've got to change my morning routine around her. So you just got to get used
Grant
to
is such
somebody.
a loving, good, supportive husband.
Yeah.
You're so good. Favorite date activity every now and then. I love going to like arcades or bowling or rock climbing.
Yeah.
Weird stuff like that.
The place that we went for Turtle's birthday.
Yeah.
Me and her could do that all day.
Like bumper cars,
Yeah, like
all that kind of stuff.
Grand Station in town with the bowling and arcades. We'll literally spend 8 hours in there and just having more fun.
Okay, this one's for you to answer. So I mentioned my leopard first date outfit.
Okay.
Has my style changed?
Oh, it's tenfold. You don't even dress the same that you when we first met. She was all about the Aztec zebra rodeo prints and the sparkly headbands and the big old belt buckles and cheetah leopard this and all. No, she is straight up black, white, pink, very timeless, very classical, very elegant now.
I've just matured a lot.
There is almost no rodeo-ness whatsoever going on.
So fun fact,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
I guess into like 5 or 6 months into us dating, I had my last house. I had a really big closet. I bought the house for the master suite. It was a huge master suite, and I like to clean my closet out every like 6 to 8 months just to keep it clean and organized and donate. And I asked Grant if he wanted to help me clean out my closet.
Yes.
He had a heyday out of it.
I had more fun.
He was like, what was it? A denim vest with serape print on it. Rodeo, gotta go.
I would sit there. I had my own little step stool, and I would get up there and I'd pull it out and be like, rodeo. I just throw it over my shoulder. Rodeo, throw it behind. I mean, it was. She almost was kind of like, you're getting rid of that many clothes. I'm like, you need new ones. Add to cart, get it going.
That was a fun date night, cleaning out the closet.
We actually had a lot of fun that night.
Okay, laundry. Who does it and who shoves it on the other?
I do the laundry. I take it back. She mainly puts it in the washing machine
Gets
and
it
dryer.
sorted and started.
Yeah, she'll put it in the washing machine and dryer, and then I'll take it out, sort it, hang it, put the socks up, and go put it up.
Yes.
So we kind of tag team it.
That was it.
Sounds good. I hope you enjoyed.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. God, I feel like we ended it so abruptly.
Okay, well, we can't do that.
I know. I don't want to shell shock them. What can we tell them?
Go follow at Carrabba Castle on Instagram.
Yeah,
we're building the house. We're putting little design elements and sneak peeks of the floor plan, like the master closet, the butler's pantry, the master shower, things like that. So